Yeah, the CBA is coming up, and I can't wait.
Girl, y'all benefited from everything. Y'all youngins benefited from NIL.
What does that mean? We deserve more.
What Angel Reese is about to say is a prophecy being fulfilled, and it's got fans shaking their heads in disbelief. Just 2 days earlier, fans mocked her mercilessly for a statement she didn't actually make, but sounded so believable that fans bid on it harder than a Kyrie fake. Yup, NBA Sentinel, fresh off an X-Ban, came back from the crypt and unloaded a tactical nuke that racked up millions of views and more victims than a Hawk Tuah crypto scam. The fake quote was about WNBA players deserving NBA-level money, a theme that, whenever it gets brought up, gets shut down instantly because of the WNBA's poor financial performance compared to the NBA and, well, any self-sustaining business for that matter. I mean, WNBA players demanding NBA cash is like my Ford Fiesta demanding 93-octane gasoline. I don't care if I save 25 cents per gallon at Costco, it just doesn't make sense. Anyway, it sounded real enough and a ton of fans took the bait. They, like so many unsuspecting victims before them, got senteled. Everyone had a good laugh at their expense and then moved on with their lives. But as the saying goes, art imitates life. And man oh man did we get a prime example of this just a few days later. Angel got on her podcast and made statements that proved exactly why Sentel's fake quote was so believable. And everyone lost their minds all over again. But this time around, fans aren't just laughing and mocking her, they're concerned. I'll get into the full quote in a moment, but the essence of it is that she threatened the WNBA to give her and the players what they want or else. And that or else, if it becomes a reality, has a ton of consequences. If she and other players follow through, it would be disastrous for the WNBA, potentially snuffing out the Caitlin Clark momentum and causing irreparable damage to the league. What she's describing has played out in other pro leagues, and the results weren't pretty. So here's what happened. Recently, a statement by Angel Reese started making the social media rounds. It was about equal pay for WNBA players, and her rationale, well, just listen and laugh. If you think about it, our shorter season makes our games more valuable, and some of us play at a higher level than some NBA players. It's simple math. Now, if you look closely, this is Sentel, which means it's not a real quote. And for days, we saw news stories debunking the quote, telling everyone it was fake. And yeah, it is. But a lot of people bid on it. Even though the premise of the quote is ridiculous, that WNBA games are worth more than NBA games because there are fewer of them, which is Picasso-level trolling, by the way, there was an air of believability to it. Here's why. First, this isn't Angel Reese's first paycheck rant. Last year, she whined that her rookie salary didn't cover her rent and joked that she's living beyond her means.
I just hope y'all know the WNBA don't pay my bills at all. I don't even think that pays one of my bills.
Look, I get it. You're making less than the assistant to the regional manager, but it's not as if you're dining on ramen every night and splitting a $1,200 studio with a roommate named Skeeter, who owns a pet cobra and hasn't showered in a week. She's living in an $8,000 a month Chicago apartment. And given that Angel is making millions through sponsorships, her tone rubbed a lot of fans the wrong way. And then there's Angel being the WNBA's drama magnet, seeking the spotlight one moment, then breaking out the tissues in a press conference the next, claiming that she gets too much hate and it's tough being her. Her inability to understand cause and effect is next level.
She's a beautiful young lady. And there's a lot of beautiful young ladies in the WNBA. But when you do that, you can't come down the line and complain about being objectified later on.
Look at it this way. When people were told they'd been sentelled, their reply was, well, it sounds like something she'd say, and they're not wrong. Fans also ripped into her skill as a main reason she doesn't deserve another dime of WNBA pay. If fans weren't pointing to her anemic close-range finishing, which is objectively bad, they called out her double-doubles, claiming she's stat pads rebounds off her own bricks. And yeah, to be fair, Angel laid enough bricks last year to replace the walls at Wrigley Field. Anyway, everyone had their say, they got called out for being sentelled, and everyone moved on. At least they did until
2 days later.
That's right, just 2 days later, Angel was discussing WNBA pay and the upcoming CBA negotiations on her podcast, Unapologetically Angel. In case you're not aware, WNBA players opted out of their collective bargaining agreement because they want more money and benefits, and they feel they can get it now because of the recent growth of the league. Like this video if you know exactly which player is responsible for that growth. Anyway, after saying she and other players deserve more money, which I don't think anyone is denying they're going to get, it hit her like the ton of bricks that she laid last year that the rookie class of 2026 would have a higher salary than her. For those keeping score, Angel's on a rookie contract making around $325,000 over 4 years, which is pocket change for her considering she probably makes that with a few Instagram posts. Anyway, her realization that the new crop of rookies would get more than her was followed with the kind of rational response you'd expect.
War.
The year after, they gonna get more. They probably gonna be making more than us. They are.
They are. Like, yeah. I've been in the meetings. They are.
I need to get in the
You need to come to the
I
meeting.
gotta get in the meetings because I'm hearing like, yeah, they don't give us, if y'all don't give us what we want, like, we sitting out.
That's a possibility, for real.
Yeah.
That's right, she's basically threatening war on the WNBA if she and the players don't get what they want. She claims the players will drag out the negotiations as long as needed until their demands are met, even if that cuts into the 2026 season. They'll take their balls and go home, so to speak. And to drive the point home and ensure this wasn't a Centel or deepfake, she posted this clip on X with, "If y'all don't give us what we want, we sitting out," as the caption. So yeah, we went from parody to reality in just 48 hours. She 100% means it. And in response, everyone basically just copied and pasted their Centel reactions. I swear people don't understand supply and demand anymore. She's really lost her mind. They can't even fill the stands unless they play against Caitlyn. Sitting out gonna just make it worse for them. That last statement, there's truth to it. More on that in a minute. I could get into all the commentary, but there's a reason why people are annoyed with Angel and other WNBA players when it comes to pay demands. The league isn't profitable and never has been. Look at it this way. The NBA makes $12 billion a year, while the WNBA is lucky to scrape $200 million. The WNBA is heavily subsidized by the NBA to the tune of 60%, and it needs to be because it loses tens of millions per year. In 2024, the league was $40 million in the red, and that's with Caitlin Clark in the mix. The WNBA has been around for nearly 3 decades and can't turn a profit. Even Little Timmy's lemonade stand generates more profit than the WNBA. Maybe he should get a McDonald's meal named after him. Anyway, when you look at the league's economic reality, you've got to ask, why should WNBA players get paid a dime more when the league loses money every year? The only answer to this question is Caitlin Clark. While so many players and media goons hate to admit it, even though they know deep in the cockles of their hearts that it's the truth, Caitlin Clark is the WNBA's savior. Before her, the league was hobbling along with half-empty arenas, TV ratings flatter than yesterday's soda, and financial prospects bleaker than my chances of dating Sydney Sweeney. Then 2024 hit, Caitlin entered the chat, and the Indiana Fever went from practically giving away tickets to 17,000 seat sellouts, setting a WNBA record with over 340,000 total home attendees. Road games? Much of the same. 20,000 plus came out in DC and Atlanta to watch Caitlin, with both the Mystics and the Dream needing to relocate to accommodate the Caitlin Clark Corral. Viewership up 170%, with Caitlin's games averaging 1.2 million eyeballs, 200% more than games without her. Her games accounted for 45% of the WNBA's total broadcast value. Fever Gear sales spiked 1,200%, with her number 22 jersey outselling all others by a gap that would make Michael Strahan's teeth jealous. Local businesses near Gainbridge Fieldhouse saw 25% more cash on game days. She generated $36 million in economic activity for Indianapolis and accounted for 27% of the WNBA's revenue. But even with all this, the WNBA still lost $40 million last season. It would have been much worse, but a loss is a loss. But there is optimism that the league will pull out of its financial death spiral and thrive in the future. Here's why. Last year, the WNBA landed an 11-year, $2.2 billion media rights deal. This means the league will be making, at minimum, $140 million more per year than with their current TV deal. Now, obviously, this is a result of the momentum created by Caitlin. So, if there's one player who deserves to be making more than 70-something thousand a year, it's her. And while there are a ton of haters who hope and pray for the Caitlin Clark effect to die down, the Kate train has no brakes. The Fever just posted a 15,000-seat preseason sellout against the Brazilian national team that boasts the same star power as a YMCA rec league. Resale tickets are going for thousands on StubHub. Again, this is preseason. And then you've got the Chicago Sky, who just hilariously proved that the WNBA is a one-player powerhouse by moving their games with the Indiana Fever to the United Center, which has twice the capacity as Wintrust Arena, which they can't pack on their own. Now, bringing this back to Angel Reese and why her comments are going over like the Hindenburg on a windy day. The WNBA players will renegotiate their collective bargaining agreement this year in an attempt to cash in on everything I just mentioned. Right now, they get around 9% of WNBA revenue, whereas other pro leagues like the NBA get around 50%. The players want a piece of that Caitlin TV revenue, and you know what? They're in a pretty good position to get it. Finally, rookie salaries higher than a TJ Maxx shift leader and max contracts that, while not close to NBA levels for obvious reasons I just discussed, will provide a solid living for the league's stars. If all goes well, lower tier players will have the cash they need to stop selling clothes on Poshmark on the side to make ends meet, and stars can avoid sideshows like Unrivaled and Rest in the off-season. And here's where Angel's flex gets dicey. Overconfidence from non-Caitlyn players could tank this party faster than a DJ playing polka at a rave. Angel's not alone. Natasha Cloud's out there too, pushing the WNBA to prioritize players, noble but not based in economic reality. The WNBA has been a money pit for 27 years. Even with Caitlyn, it's still begging the NBA for crumbs. You can't pay players more than their economic worth. It's supply and demand. Caitlyn's generating 26.5% of the league's activity. Angel's arguably the second biggest draw in the WNBA. But ask yourself this: are the Sky playing every game at the United Center this year, or just when Caitlyn is in town? That tells you everything you need to know about who's driving the Brinks truck. And that's the thing. The league needs to keep the Caitlyn Clark momentum going to become self-sustaining and create the best financial outcome for all players. Caitlyn Clark isn't just a player. She's the WNBA's entire pulse. The league was chugging along like a rusty old jalopy until she rolled up, turning sleepy games into sold-out circuses and bringing in casual fans, something the league hadn't been able to do. Shut her off with some short-sighted work stoppage and you kill the momentum. Pull the plug now, and it's back to empty seats and awkward silence. Good luck clawing out of that grave. Don't think so? Just look at what work stoppages have done to other leagues that are far more established than the WNBA. MLB's 1994 strike was a train wreck. Fans ditched, ratings cratered, and it took years to claw back trust. The NHL went full nuclear in 2004, canceling the whole season, and spent a decade begging casuals to care again. These are leagues with a rich history and diehard fans who've got team tattoos and generational loyalty. And even they struggled to win people back. The fallout was ugly, and recovery was a slog. The WNBA, it's not even in the same galaxy. It's still building its fan base, trying to turn "oh cool" into "I'd sell my kidney for tickets." It's emerging, fragile, and banking on Caitlyn's shine to lock in the long-term love. If MLB and the NHL, with their financial cushions and screaming superfans, got battered by stoppages, the WNBA's screwed. Even a short-lived sit-out could alienate its fledgling audience, torch the buzz, and leave the league scrambling to rebuild from scratch. If those big dogs bled, the WNBA would flatline. Here's the thing: everyone would love to see the women earn more, but it has to make economic sense. It's fine for Angel and other players to be confident, but they also have to be cautious. The players will get better pay because of the league's $200 million per year media rights contract, but threatening to sit out is being a penny rich and a pound foolish. Hopefully this is just bluster and Angel is just doing what she does best, getting a rise out of people. Everyone needs to remember, and I would say be thankful, that Caitlyn's the golden goose. Without her, there's no fat media rights contract, no sellouts, and likely no prospect of near-term prosperity for the WNBA. Sure, there are players like Paige Beckers and Juju Watkins in the pipeline, but there's no way the league can risk turning off the Caitlyn tap for even a week, let alone a season. Hopefully, the two sides come to a fair agreement with a long-term view that understands the gravity of the moment, and they keep Angel away from the negotiating table. Drop a basketball emoji in the comments if you're still here. Thanks for watching.